Hey everybody, this is Perch. As you might have heard, Dean Cain was a guest on some Fox show, one of the news shows, the ones in the afternoon. You know, the interesting thing about news channels, and this is the thing that kind of, I mean, has been my biggest irritation with U.S.-based news, is CNN, MSNBC, Fox. They all take to in the evening doing opinionated shows. And maybe those opinions line up with yours, maybe they don't, but one thing they're definitely not is news, but they're the highest rated shows on the channel. So that's what gets the promotion. And the news is continues to kind of be pushed back further and further and further. When I say news, I mean unemotional, like here's something that happened. Here's some facts. We're not going to tell you how to think about these facts. We're just going to, give you the details. We're going to assume you're bright enough to figure that out for yourself. But commentary shows have become what these stations are. And so every now and then I see somebody like really defending Fox or really defending CNN. It's like, I get it. You may be on board with whatever ideology is going on in those afternoons, but they all suck for news, for just straight news. But anyway, Dean Cain was on one of these shows, and he was decrying this Captain America issue, where Captain America basically says he's given up on the American dream or he doesn't understand anymore. There's a lot of ways to kind of interpret that scene. I'll give you the shorthand of where it all goes. There's a 5-part Captain America series written by Christopher Cantwell and the writer of Hellcat and Iron Man. And it is it's Captain America questioning, where he fits with everything. I did the other video on this already, just talking about Captain America specifically, but my big irritation with this is not that Captain America is questioning the American dream or anything like that. It's the fact that we've seen this exact storyline how many times now? Like the Captain, I mean, over the last 20 years, we've had more periods of Captain America being confused about where he fits within America than have a good game plan for himself. And in this 5-issue series, I'm more than positive that by the end of it, he's going to they'll show him smiling and looking into the sunset. And it goes, I believe in the dream again because there are other people dreaming it with me. And that's the whole premise of this. They're showing different Captain Americas from different walks of life who have been inspired by him. And this is about him getting his, quote unquote, groove back. And if they'd skipped the Ta-Nehisi Coates run completely and just done this, it probably would have played better in terms of just making sense for the comic character. But we just went through Captain America being kind of disillusioned and having to catfish Red Skull at the end by secretly taping him being a crazy person. So I mean, it lands weird. But Dean Cain comes on and he says this is wokeness in America. It's very on brand for the show he was on. And then lots of people came in to say Dean Cain is a dumbass. And then that's now the battle between the two. And one line in particular was I think it was a Bleeding Cool article where Rich Johnston, who is anytime I blocked Rich Johnston on Twitter, which was a smart move because there's no value in engaging with Rich. There's no value at all. He's a parasite. Anyway. Sorry, just being honest. But Rich says, Dean Cain clearly didn't read the comic. And Dean Cain fires back, you're right, I didn't read the comic. He was shown this panel or whatever. And I get, so first off, I think at this particular point in the life of comics and comics media and celebrities who comment on comics and all the rest, there really isn't a good stone to be thrown at somebody for not reading the comic. A lot of people are not reading the comics. A lot of people commenting and making these things are certainly, especially on social media, in most cases not buying the comic, and in many cases not reading it all. How many times have I had to do videos where I get in these stupid arguments about, hey, this is what actually happened in the comic. And people are like, nope, I saw it on this one video. It happened this other way. It's like, you didn't actually read the comic and the video was trying to mislead you. So I think this who's reading the comic gotcha is, very few people. I don't think it's a gotcha anymore. Should people read the comics before they comment on them? Yes. Is it? It's no kind of gotcha for the comics media to be calling out Dean Cain. Then in addition, then I see people like Dean Cain was the best Superman. I see those comments come up. I mean, really? I no shade. I don't have a dog in the Dean Cain fight. He was barely Superman. He had that Lois and Clark show for a few years. I guess, I don't know. I like Christopher Reeves, best Superman, right? I mean, I'm old, so maybe that's just the way I view it. But I mean, I think it's Christopher Reeves. I don't know. This entire fuss about what does this celebrity think about that, and then kind of the overall gotcha and kind of the bait. So I'll throw this out there. By the time this video actually goes to air, we'll see if it actually gets any traction or not. But there's another article that a couple comic news sites, yes, Bleeding Cool, but others as well, are running with, which basically shows John Kent. And John Kent is going to take over and be Superman, basically, for a while. While Clark Kent, Kal-El, is off doing something else. And in the comic, they make a point of John Kent saying, I am basically here for truth, justice, and a better world. And the comic news sites, who are arguably in favor of that catchphrase versus truth, justice, and, truth, justice, and the American way, are writing. I mean, the headline, Superman's son stands for truth, justice, but not the American way. And it's bait. My point here is I feel like this entire article is written begging Fox News or Dean Cain to pick up on it and do a speech and generate some hate traffic back to the site. It's such a cynical freaking article. Right down to the way it's concluded. I get the feeling Dean Cain wouldn't like that either. Yikes. Why? Look, first off, there's a lot of comic books produced every month. Whether or not you think this is all part of a woke plot or not a woke plot, it's kind of irrelevant. They're shoving a ton of comics out. If we want to play the gotcha game with panels, just single panels, we can't. There's so much material over the last 20 years that will make you lose your mind, of comics that are written oddly, phrases that are weird. I mean, there's comics where Spider-Man seems to advocate for spousal abuse. I mean, there's plenty of super awkward panels there, and it doesn't help comics at all to play gotcha by going, truth, justice, and he said better world. He didn't say American way, unless people purely want to fight and argue. Is it intentional that they switched out better world for American way? Yeah, of course. They wrote it intentionally that way. Is it because people at DC are trying to diminish or hate America? I mean, again, I don't know. I don't know what's going on in their heart. Maybe you, the person listening to this, are sure. I think it has a lot more to do with the fact that just they feel like, truth, justice, and the American way is a, old-fashioned, corny kind of line, and they're trying to modernize it. That's my belief. That's what I believe goes into that. Again, having talked to enough writers, they tend to obsess over this kind of stuff. And maybe they're doing it for the wrong reason. Maybe they're obsessing over it because, on Twitter, saying truth, justice, and the American way, get people to laugh at you and say, you must be a Republican, or. So maybe that's why they're doing it. Probably that's why people are doing it. But is this something that deserves a Fox News segment about how DC is anti-American? I don't think so. I think that this kind of stuff is it's bait. And so, my conclusion here is, number one, whether you agree with Dean Cain's politics or not, or I don't know, pick a different, does Kathy Griffin reading comics? I'm trying to think of people on the opposite end of the spectrum. Who cares? Seriously, who cares what they think or what they like? Do you like it? Do you not like it? I don't care. Having a news segment about what somebody thinks about this Captain America comic that feels like an exhausting retread one issue into a celebration comic. God, who cares? Who cares? Is a comic good? I told you, I thought the comic was terrible. So, from my perspective, I don't want to read it, but does that need to become a news segment? I don't think so. Does that mean that, they're trying to, with truth, justice, and a better world versus an American? It all feels like bait. It feels like bait designed to get people arguing about it. And by the way, you could very correctly say in the comments, but look, you're talking about it. I am, because I want to try and convey one thing. Let's not keep taking this bait. I don't care. And when I say I don't care, I do care for quality writing. I do care for maintaining history and continuity. I care about all those things. What I don't care about is some jackass for clicks trying to poke people with a stick to get them to argue with each other. I don't care. I mean, I can almost guarantee this article was sent to Fox News going, look at this, guys. What do you think about this? But this pisses you off, Tucker Carlson. Ugh. Just, ugh. I don't know. So I guess two questions for you. Number one, truth, justice, in a better world, truth, justice, in an American way. Do you care? And if you do care, why? Like, I would say I care for the legacy reasons. I care because it's kind of an iconic phrase of Superman. I care on that level. Whether or not they say America, and does this mean more than what it does? I mean, this wouldn't be the straw that broke that camel's back for me. For what it's worth. You may feel differently. That's totally fine. The other question is, when outside people come in and give comments on comic books and everybody jumps up and down paying attention, like, why? Like, do you care what Nicolas Cage thinks about, the Avengers? Actually, I kind of would like to know what he thinks. So maybe I'm a big hypocrite. Anyway, let me know your comments, thoughts below. Like and subscribe, and thanks.